and I can't carry something and not tell you about it as a point of prayer, a point of intercession. Yesterday, we were having a really great day. Just got back from the first leg of the tour, and I was with my family at the house and my daughter. We saw her off to her prom. It was a really good day. And then my 10-year-old called me. They were outside, and my 10-year-old told me that mommy had an accident on the trampoline. And I went out there, and they were playing, and there was an accident, and that required the paramedics. And we spent all night we went to one hospital, the closest one to our home, to get x-rays to see how bad it was. And the x-rays came back, and it was a certain level of medical professionals. You'll understand this was a CT scan. It wasn't the MRI. It was just x-rays, essentially. And it showed that there were some fractures in some concerning places. And immediately we called some of the people that we know that do the best work in the city and perhaps in the world, and transported her to a different place, and where we were able to get an MRI, and we were praying, because there were some significant concerns. If this did not go right, it could go very wrong. And we prayed. The MRI was taken, and by the grace of God.
And so, Pastor, you committed adultery on your wife with Sarah Jake Roberts. The people want to know if your wife had so much injury and could possibly, but by the grace of God, not walk or not be here. The saints want to know, sir, why was you down at the church? Why was you down at the church? You trying to take over the church? You want to be the pastor of the Potter's house? They want to know, sir, why you down at the church? Shouldn't you be at your wife's side? Shouldn't you be there comforting her and praying her through this moment? So let's go ahead and understand what this really means. For those of us, we're not really like medical.
Airway potential C-spine injuries changes airway management for anesthesia. Let's talk about it. This is Sarah Jakes Roberts, and she unfortunately had a fall at a trampoline park, and she got what's called a C-collar. Main goal, secure the airway without moving the neck, because moving the neck could cause a C-spine injury to be worse. When placing the breathing tube, instead of using the traditional blade and handle, we use what's called a video-assisted device called a glide scope. This lets me see the airway clearly without moving the neck.
This is a glide scope. What we would have to use to secure the airway, have a light at the end and the camera, as you can see behind me.
Okay, come on, baby.
Paired with manual inline stabilization, it helps maintain the spine while securing the airway safely. That's why we have to know anatomy and be trained in all situations. I hope you feel better, Ms. Roberts. Potential C-spine injuries changes airway management for anesthesia. Let's talk about it. This is Sarah Jakes Roberts, and she unfortunately had a fall at a trampoline park, and she got what's called a C-collar. Main goal, secure the airway without moving the neck, because moving the neck could cause a C-spine injury to be worse. When placing the breathing tube, instead of using the traditional blade and handle, we use what's called a video-assisted device called a glide scope. This lets me see the airway clearly without moving the neck.
This is a glide scope. What we would have to use to secure the airway, have a light at the end and a camera, as you can see behind me.
Paired with manual inline stabilization, it helps maintain the spine while securing the airway safely. That's why we have to know anatomy and be trained in all situations. I hope you feel better, Ms. Roberts.
Okay. I wanted to play that because there was okay. So the cousin want to know. The cousin want to know Why was you down at the church and not at your side at your wife, Miss Sarah? You stole that woman's husband, Jake's Roberts, bedside. That is what the saints wants to know. And so Miss Sarah, you stole that woman's husband, Jake's Roberts said. Let me just go ahead and read what she said, then we're gonna read what he said. We're gonna see that it's not really matching up, because if it was so bad, sir, you should have been at your wife's bedside. And this is her. She says she's doing better. People's complaining about the duck lips. I don't have a problem with duck lips. Girls smile, but feel your best, be your best. Okay. Last night, she said, this is what she's saying. Okay, to us. She said last night was scary. I was almost paralyzed, but God didn't see fit to let that be my story. I was playing a game with my Ella on the trampoline and landed on my neck. Instantly, I heard several pops in my neck. She called her dad, who called 911 to a hospital. Several scans, and hours later, we learned that I had fractured my neck, herniated disc, and endangered areas of my spine that could have left me paralyzed. One disc up or one disc lower, and this would have been a different testimony. Instead, I'll be wearing this brace for 4 to 6 weeks to keep my neck stable and to avoid further damage. Rest and recovery will give my body a chance to heal. I'll be lying down low while I navigate this injury with wisdom. I'm soaking in the presence and kindness of God and in the love of my friends and family. So if you see me and I'm out and about, but move slow, just know that I'll still birthday even with my neck brace. Okay. So then he said, this is what the husband said, girl. The husband who, love his wife so much was down at the church. This is what he said. Not gonna lie. I got shook to my core yesterday. My day went from a happy, love-filled family movement as we saw our teenager off to prom to news of a freak accident in our backyard that threatened the life of my entire universe. But you was down at the church. Okay. Cousin Kimberly want to know, why was you at the church and not at the hospital with your wife? Shout out to my favorite cousin Kimberly. All of my cousins are my favorite. Okay. I had to keep it all together to problem solve in real time, get my wife the help she needed, and keep my family calm while inside I was crushed by so many feelings and emotions moving so rapidly I couldn't keep up with them. Yet you was down at the church. I don't understand. The mission was singular: get my wife to good at all costs. By the grace of God, we saw a miracle play out right in front of us. My wife is home resting and recovering with an army of love and support surrounding her. She also covered by the prayers of our Potter's House family of church leaders from around the world and so many of you. Thank you for your heartfelt prayers and words of encouragement we feel. So the cousin want to know, sir, if you almost lost your wife, why are you down at the church? Why are you at the church, Toure? I want to be the pastor of the Potter's House. I cheated on my wife with my new wife, Sarah. You stole that woman's husband, Jake's Roberts. And this is what I am talking about, ladies, is make sure you choose a husband who really loves you. Now, I know people's falling out in the comments because I said, Sarah, you stole that woman's husband, Jake's Roberts. He was not divorced. When she went up, see, I saw all of this played out. So y'all know Sarah Jakes now when she's the pastor of the Potter's House. I knew Sarah Jakes when she married her first husband at 18 or 19. When she got pregnant, like me, at 16 and had a baby and married her husband. So when I say I know. She went up to that man, her words, and said, God told me you my husband. That man, Toure, was still married to his ex-wife. And now she said, oh, I love them. They're so wonderful. Of course, she's getting paid. Hello. Of course, she's going to say, oh, yeah, we were not together. We were check the divorce papers. She forgot what she testified. She forgot what she testified. And that's one of the reasons why I don't care for Sarah. You stole that woman's husband, Jake's Roberts, is because she's masculine and you're teaching young women the wrong way to go up to some man and say, God told you you're supposed to be my husband. And this is why, Miss, God told you you're supposed to be my husband. Your disc is all out of shape. And instead of your husband at your side, he's at the church because he wants all the attention and glory. That is a big church. You cannot tell me the Potter's house did not have an elder who could conduct Sunday service so you could be at your wife's side. But anyways, it just doesn't make sense to me. But it makes sense, okay? And this is what you get. This is what you get. And the cousin want to know, sir, why you had to go to church on Sunday. Because, see, a lot of overly spiritual Christian men, they put church above their wife. They put God, church, wife, and family. And it's not so. It's God, wife, kids, church. I have to go. I said, love you. I adore you. Let me know what you think about this foolishness in the comment. I will talk with you later. Bye, guys. Oh, the temperature fell. It's like 35 degrees. I am so happy because, you know, I love the cold. I hate the heat. I was miserable last week. It was like 90 degrees 3 days in a row. I was horrified because, you know, I don't like the heat. And it's back to my regular winter. I have to slowly roll into summer. You can't just show up and say, hello. This was summer last week. This was summer last week. Hi, I'm here. And I was like, no. I absolutely love you. Let me fix your neck. Let me fix your collar. Just turn this way. I absolutely love you guys. I adore you. I will talk with you later. I can rub your face up. Bye, guys. Oh, thank you for those of you showing me love. I see you guys are picking up my book, leaving reviews for me. Please go back on Amazon, leave a glow and 5-star review. I love you. I will talk with you later. Bye.